Good morning, my name's Ed from Ardent Training, and we've just spent the morning making a video about Liferaft for our Day Skipper theory course. It turned out to be a really interesting exercise, so we've made this extra little video to share it with our wider community. When we bought our yacht Nifa about 18 months ago, it came with this old Liferaft. From closer inspection, it was about 20 years old and due a service. Now, when you're servicing something this old, you're less concerned about replacing the out-of-date flares inside and starting to worry about the actual quality and integrity of the rubber and the glue. So, let's not skimp on safety equipment. We got rid of that and got this lovely fancy brand new one. The great thing about this is we've now got an excellent training opportunity to explore the contents of and actually launch our old Liferaft. Now, before we throw this in the ocean, we want to make sure we're not going to be contributing to litter in the marine environment. So we did remove the plastic straps that were holding it shut, and we attached the lid of the canister to make sure it won't sink. What this does mean is when you see the video of us throwing it over, you will notice it is no longer sealed, but that is why. You ready? This is not working. Here we go. It's upside down. Yes, it inflated upside down. This is actually not uncommon. And although we're taught how to right a life raft from in the sea, we're never actually taught how to right one from the side of a vessel. And this is actually a lot harder than we expected. Now, we're doing this in flat, calm conditions on a mooring. Imagine doing this in a rough sea. Where's it gone? You didn't pull it off, did you? Coming. Obviously I had to do a bit of bailing before I was happy to bring the camera in here, but you'd be surprised there wasn't actually much water. There's about a bucket and a half full. First thing you're supposed to do when you get in your life raft is if your vessel is sinking, which is probably why we've got in here, we're going to want to cut ourselves free from the vessel. So if you pan over here, you can see we've got a knife nicely labelled right by the door and right by where the paint is tied on. So that's really easy and accessible. And the knife doesn't have a pointy end, so you'd have to be a bit of a fool to slash the life raft with it, and that seems sharp enough. That would do the job. I'm going to tuck that back in its sheath before I deflate us. So the second thing we need to do is stream the drogue. Now this looks like a drogue over here to me, and it's just secured with a bit of Velcro. Not sure what that cable tie is. And oh, look at that. I think I've just made a mess of that. We want to stream it away from the door. We want to stream it on the opposite side from the door, and you can see there is a line coming through this little porthole, inspection hatch, what do you call that, a vent? So I'm going to shove it out there. We might want to shut the door, so let's take a look at that. Okay, here we go. Looks pretty simple. Velcro and ties, and looks like I can tie it shut as well. You know, if a wave came over that, I think a lot of water would still come in. On a day like today, when there aren't any waves coming in, I suspect it's going to be a lot nicer to have this open during the daytime so we can see the horizon and get some fresh air coming through. Now Charlie's just pointed out this light flapping around in my face here, and so when we launched the Liferaft, this automatically activated both here and on the top of the Liferaft. During the daytime, that's going to be a waste of battery, so we're going to switch that off and save our power for night. And it also looks like this one clips up here, so it's not dangling in my face anymore. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but I'm a little bit disappointed to see I've got to inflate the floor myself. This is going to be really important for keeping us warm and dry. Any moisture will sit underneath this and keep our bums dry, but also the amount of insulation it's going to provide is really valuable. So I'm going to hope there's a foot pump in this kit bag over here. It's going to be difficult with us sat on it, but we'll see how we go. The floor inflates 1/2 at a time, so we've all squeezed onto one side whilst we inflate the other, and now we'll transfer over and inflate the side we're sat on. Now this is going to work very well with 2 of us, but this is a 4-man life raft. Let's see what we've got in this bag of goodies. Okay, that's clearly meant to be a paddle. Okay, got a puncture repair kit. We've got a torch and seasickness tablets and spare batteries by the looks of it. What's this? And we've got spare bulbs as well. Seasickness tablets, they're going to be key. This isn't for polishing. I should imagine if we get those wet, they will sort of absorb the water and become sponges. So either that or it's toast. A signalling mirror, little hole in the middle, and a whistle, a fishing line, 3 handheld red flares. They look orange inside this life raft. They're all out of date, so I'll have fun trying to dispose of those. A pretty standard signalling card and immediate emergency procedures. I don't think this is a rain hat. I think this is actually going to be our baler. I think this is our onboard bucket. And 8 poly bags. Guess we can keep our clothes dry. If we get hot, we can take them off, put them in bags. Not really sure what else they're for. Okay, well that's our grab bag empty. Throw quoit to assist survivors out of reach of the raft. So this is just a lob to anyone who has fallen overboard, or so this is going to be interesting actually, because I think this is going to be quite hard to throw from inside the life raft. Now I could flake this all out neatly, but in a realistic emergency it's not what we're going to do, is it? We're going to be drifting away from our person in the water all the time. So let's see if we can get this out nice and quick. That went about 5 meters. It's going to take me ages to sort that out and throw that any further. I could have done a better job, but in an emergency, is that realistic? It's been fun, but I think we should get back on the boat and just have a cup of tea and think about what we've learned. Great, I've got my coffee and I've had another chance to review everything we've found inside the container. First of all, the repair kit. I said I was going to have a closer look when I got out the life raft. I have. It's excellent. It's pretty comprehensive. I'm happy with that. What is interesting is, out of what's written on the life raft container, we've actually found 2 additional items, a signalling mirror and the first aid kit. Well, according to what's written on here, we shouldn't have had those. So, couple of ideas. One is, I had no way of knowing what would be inside without launching it. That's interesting. But the reason those are there is probably the previous owner has added extra bits in. When you take a life raft to get serviced, you can ask the service agent to add additional items. Alternatively, if you want to take extra kit but don't want to store it inside, or if there's not space, prepare a grab bag. get a dry bag and add some additional items to that dry bag and just take it with you when you board the life raft. This is pretty standard practice, and I think after being in the life raft, there's a couple of things that I would definitely want in that grab bag: food, water, and some sort of modern distress system. So these flares are great, but realistically they are outdated when you compare them to modern systems like EPIRBs or VHF radios with GPS. So I would take something a bit more modern in my grab bag. The other thing is, the painter is listed as being 10 meters. 10 meters is a lot. What I found is the firing mechanism was fitted 6 meters into the painter. So if you don't actually have 10 meters of painter to play with, by the time you get to 6 it will inflate, and if I walk this to the stern of the boat, then I risk actually inflating it on deck. So that's something to think about. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. Remember, all we've done here is launch this 20-something-year-old life raft that we just happen to have aboard. There is a limited amount of what you can learn from this. However, if you're looking to buy a used vessel, or if you deliver used vessels, this could well be the sort of thing you're working with, so it's all good experience. If you want to learn more about life rafts or safety procedures on board, then we highly recommend you go and check out RYA courses. But for now, I'm going to go learn how to deflate a life raft. I suspect it's going to be quite difficult, so wish me luck.